The day you get married, everyone tells you, now you will never be lonely again. The room is full of smiles, blessings, photographs, laughter, and promises. And yet, months or years later, many people sit quietly beside the same person they married and feel a strange, confusing emptiness. They feel alone, even though they are not physically alone. If you have ever wondered why love can start to feel lonely after marriage, stay with me, because this feeling is more common than we are taught to believe, and today we are going to talk about it. Honestly, gently, and without shame, imagine this for a moment. You are lying in bed next to your partner. The house is quiet. Your phone is face down. There is no fight, no drama, nothing obviously wrong. And still, inside your chest, there is a hollow feeling. You miss something, but you cannot name what it is. You start asking yourself dangerous questions in silence. Is something wrong with me? Did I marry the wrong person? Is love supposed to feel like this? If this sounds familiar, please know you are not broken. You are human. Before we go deeper, take a second to breathe and gently tap the like button if this topic already feels close to your heart. And if you enjoy thoughtful conversations about love, relationships, and emotional truth, subscribe to Seema Tales. This space is for honest stories and wisdom that help us understand ourselves better without judgment. Now let us begin with a truth we rarely hear. Marriage does not automatically end loneliness. In fact, sometimes marriage reveals loneliness more clearly than being single ever did. Before marriage, we are often chasing love. After marriage, we are living inside it. And those are two very different experiences. When we are chasing love, there is excitement, anticipation, longing, and imagination. When we are living inside marriage, reality enters. Responsibilities enter, expectations enter, and slowly, without realizing it, we stop seeing each other and start seeing roles. One of the deepest reasons love feels lonely after marriage is because we confuse companionship with connection. We share a home, a bed, a routine, maybe children, finances, and social obligations. But emotional connection is something else entirely. Connection needs presence. It needs listening without fixing. It needs curiosity about the other person's inner world. Over time, many couples stop asking, "How are you really?" and start assuming they already know the answer. That assumption creates emotional distance. Another quiet reason for loneliness is unspoken expectations. Before marriage, we imagine that our partner will understand us without words. We believe love means being seen automatically. But marriage does not give anyone magical emotional intelligence. When expectations remain unspoken, they turn into silent disappointments. And silent disappointments slowly turn into loneliness. You sit next to the person you love, but you feel unseen, unheard, and emotionally alone. There is also the weight of roles, especially for women: wife, husband, mother, father, provider, caretaker, problem solver. Over time, we start performing these roles so well that our true selves disappear behind them. You stop being a woman with dreams, fears, desires, and softness, and start being someone who manages everything. When no one asks about the person behind the role, loneliness grows quietly. You are needed, but you are not known. Many marriages also struggle with emotional safety. At the beginning, we share everything: our fears, our childhood wounds, our hopes. But after a few arguments or misunderstandings, we start protecting ourselves. We choose silence instead of honesty because it feels safer. We stop sharing the parts of us that feel vulnerable, and when vulnerability disappears, intimacy disappears with it. What remains is polite distance, and that distance feels like loneliness. Another painful truth is that love changes shape, but we are not taught how to recognize its new form. Early love is loud. It demands attention. It feels intense and consuming. Mature love is quieter. It shows up in consistency, support, and presence. But if you are still searching for the old intensity, the quietness of mature love can feel like emptiness. You may think love is fading, when in reality it is asking to be understood differently. There is also the loneliness that comes from not growing together. People change, life changes, trauma changes us, success changes us, parenthood changes us. If two people grow in different emotional directions without checking in, they can end up strangers sharing a life. Not because they stopped loving each other, but because they stopped meeting each other where they are now. Sometimes love feels lonely after marriage because we expect one person to meet all our emotional needs. Friendship, passion, understanding, validation, excitement, security, that is a heavy burden for any human being. When those needs are not fully met, we feel empty and alone. But the truth is, no one person can be everything. Healthy relationships allow space for individuality, friendships, purpose, and self-connection. Let us talk about self-connection for a moment. Many people feel lonely in marriage because they have lost touch with themselves, their desires, their boundaries, their inner voice. When you are disconnected from yourself, even the most loving partner cannot fill that gap. Loneliness is sometimes not about the other person at all. Sometimes it is your soul asking for attention. Now here is the most important part. Feeling lonely after marriage does not mean your marriage has failed. It means something inside the relationship needs care, honesty, and attention. Loneliness is not a verdict. It is a signal asking for deeper communication, emotional courage, and sometimes difficult conversations. So what can you do when love starts to feel lonely? The first step is naming the feeling without blame. Instead of saying, "You make me feel lonely," try saying, "I have been feeling disconnected, and I want to understand why." Language matters. Curiosity opens doors that accusations close. The second step is bringing vulnerability back into the relationship. Share your inner world again, even if it feels uncomfortable. Emotional intimacy does not return through grand gestures. It returns through small, honest moments, through listening without interrupting, through being present without distractions. The third step is reconnecting with yourself. Ask yourself what you miss. Is it rest, creativity, appreciation, emotional safety? Often, what we think we want from our partner is something we also need to give ourselves. When you start honoring your own needs, loneliness loses some of its power. And finally, allow love to evolve instead of mourning what it used to be. Love after marriage is not meant to stay frozen in its early stage. It is meant to deepen, soften, and mature. But that only happens when both people are willing to keep choosing each other consciously, not just conveniently. If this story touched something inside you, you are not alone in this feeling, even if it feels that way sometimes. Thousands of people quietly carry the same emotions, believing they are the only ones. That is why spaces like Seema Tales exist, to remind you that your emotions are valid, your questions matter, and your heart deserves understanding. As we come closer to the end, I want you to pause and reflect. What part of this story felt like it was written for you? Was it the silence, the expectations, the roles, or the longing to be seen again? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your words might help someone else feel less alone. And if you believe this message could help a friend, a partner, or someone silently struggling, please share this video with them. Sometimes one honest conversation can change everything. Thank you for spending these moments with me. Stay gentle with your heart. Stay curious about love, and remember, loneliness is not the end of the story. It is often the beginning of a deeper one.